with journals, art projects, organized planner chic.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Organized Planner Chic. I'm Lucinda, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so and select the bell for notifications. Well, first, I want to thank all my Patreon members who help make it possible to create videos like this. Well, thank you so much. And if you're interested in supporting me on Patreon, just go to patreon.com/organizedplannerchic. Okay, you guys, let's go ahead and get started on making our Dollar Tree Supplies Ephemera journal. All right, so I'm actually going to be using that box that was on the left that I already cut up just because the spine is a little bit wider, but I wanted to show you guys how to cut the box. So you're going to cut the top and the bottom. You're not going to cut the other side, but you're going to cut the side that is open. Now, you may have a different type of box. I used a baking soda box, and maybe your box doesn't open the same way, but the reason why I'm cutting this way is because the opposite side, not the side that I'm going to cut, the opposite side is going to have kind of a reinforced binding in there already. So if you're using a box that is like the same all the way around, there's no like extra layer or anything, then you don't need to worry about this at all. But if you want to have that kind of built-in spine, which you'll see, then you'll want to do that. If you're not sure, then you can kind of, after you cut off the top, you can peek in there and see if there looks like a piece that's kind of has a layer that's overlapped, and that'll tell you, and that'll make it so much easier whenever you get all ready to, work on your spine. Okay, so remember, we cut the top and we're going to cut the bottom, but the easiest way to do that, when I also have this side to cut, is just go ahead after I cut the top part, then cut through this part that has the opening for pouring your baking soda. And then when I get that cut through, instead of just cutting that piece by itself, I'm going to continue to cut all the way through to the bottom, since I need that piece off as well. And that's the easiest way to make sure that I cut the correct side. Now, there's really no wrong side, but I just like to have the side that has that reinforcement in it, just because it makes the spine a little bit stronger. And yeah, it can be kind of hard to get to that one little piece there. It gets a little tight, and then you can just kind of press on it and pop it up. I think I showed that in here. Yeah, just kind of take your scissors and put a little bit of pressure. What I tend to do is cut the one side until it feels too tight. Then I do the other side, and it kind of loosens it up for me to cut it on the other side again. I hope that makes sense. All right, so we're going to keep this piece because we're going to use this little side that I didn't use. We're going to put that, attach it, we'll tape it, you'll see in a little bit. We're going to use that to reinforce the spine some more. So it'll make sense when we get to that part. And right now I'm just trimming where it's not quite straight. If you want, you can use a ruler and a pencil and kind of mark, but I didn't do that. I just did it freehand. It doesn't have to be perfect. So no worries there at all. And you can see there where I've got kind of that little layer there in the spine that makes it a little bit stronger. Now this is the actual piece I'm using, and there you can see that there in the center what I was talking about. And now I'm going to use, I don't have any more the scraps from whenever I cut the box that I'm using, so I'm just going to use a piece from the box that I just cut on TV. On TV, gosh, that's crazy. I guess it's on your TV maybe, but on the video, okay? So it's the same design of the box, just the Arm & Hammer box was a little bit wider, so I wanted to use that one. So yeah, so I am just going to take some tape and I'm going to put together the piece that was open, that popped off so that you could pour your baking soda. I'm just going to use some masking tape to tape over that so that it's one solid piece. And I'm going to do probably 3 or 4 strips of that just to make sure it's held together really well. I could have used glue, but I didn't want to have to wait for the glue to dry for this little piece. It works just as well with some tape, so that's what I'm going to do. I hope everything I'm saying makes sense, you guys. Some of it is kind of hard to describe, but it's easy to see as you watch me do it. And when I edited this video, I only took out things like if I was dilly-dallying around and taking too long and nothing was happening on the screen. I edited those pieces out. I deleted those completely, and then I only sped up a couple of little sections, maybe 3, where it was just a lot of the same thing and it was getting kind of boring. So, but everything else is pretty much at the normal speed. I only sped up those couple of sections so that you could work with me and create this at the same time if you wanted to. So here I'm just cutting the excess of the tape, and then I'm just going to trim the excess on the sides to make it a little bit straighter, because remember I cut this off of a box and it wasn't a perfect cut. And I want it to be straighter, not because I need it to be perfect, but I want to make sure that it fits right inside of where the box that I'm going to glue it into, where it folds, so that I don't have any trouble getting it to fold whenever I glue this piece and glue the other fabric and all that stuff on it. So this way I have a clean piece that will fit right inside that little opening, that groove. Just like that. Yeah. Because remember, this spine was just a little bit smaller than the Arm & Hammer box spine. I mean, I could have done either one, but hey, that's not what I did. Okay, so now I'm going to use some Dollar Tree craft glue. It's excellent glue. Now this bottle I've started already, so it's not pouring out as easily as it does when you first get it brand new. It pours out really well. The more you use it, the harder it gets for it to come out. And so I'm just dipping, because this glue is thick, I'm just dipping my brush into some water to loosen it up a little bit. It still moves pretty well even without dipping it into the water. It is a really good glue. I've used it in some other projects. And so yeah, I'm just going to put this piece in there, and I'm just reinforcing this spine this time because of the way I'm going to be putting in the inserts. So I'm going to be using some elastic and pulling it tight, and I didn't want it to kind of press into the cardboard and create indentation. So I thought I would do this time to reinforce it, because normally I use all fabric on the front and the back. This time I'm not using fabric as much in the inside, and so I don't usually reinforce the spine with anything because I've got the cardboard and 2 layers of fabric. But this time I thought I would do that, and I just used some stuff I had around to put some weight on it while it dried to make sure it adhered really well. You could put a book or something else heavy. I just used what was around me on the table at the time. And I intended to, and I'm just going to trim the excess right now, but I intended, and this is the second time I've done this, I intended to glue the this extra little piece from the box onto the side that had all the print with all the Arm & Hammer stuff. And then that way the print would all be in the inside and you wouldn't have to worry about it showing at all, you know, whenever your binder or your journal is closed, you know, from the outside. But I forgot last time too. However, now that I really think about it, because the folds are really in there well, you know, around the spine, I don't know if it would have worked well if I tried to do that anyway. So, yeah. So what I just did with the glue, so I decided to use a different glue that was at Dollar Tree. It is the Elmer's glue that is liquid and it's purple and it dries clear. And I've never used that before. I decided to do that instead of the white glue. So I haven't been seeing lately for a while any Mod Podge, which I used in my last project. and I haven't been able to find any for the last couple of weeks, just looking for it at Dollar Tree. And so this time I decided I would use, I could have used the white glue, the Jot glue, but I decided to try this, and it is a thick glue, but it's not as sticky. It's kind of weird. It's thicker than that craft glue that I just used, the little clear bottle, but it's not as sticky, and I sped this part up, you guys. This is one of those pieces that was, I just thought it would be better because I rubbed the bone folder around here so long that I thought I would speed it up. And so anyway, this purple glue that dries clear, I decided to just put it into a little container and add some water to it to loosen it up and see how that would work. Now here, what people typically do is they cut at an angle. That's what I was just showing you. To fold and make this work when you're overlapping the fabric. But I decided not to do that again this time because by doing it, by cutting out these little rectangles, which you'll see me do a little later, I have some really perfect rectangles that I can use when I junk journal that would be really pretty. So I decided to do it that way instead. So I've got the liquid glue. I did it, on the outside, and I'm doing it here on the inside too. It's not going to work as well as it did on the front, which you'll see in a little bit. And I decided to use my scissors this time instead of my bone folder to put pressure because I was intending to only use Dollar Tree products, except for like the big brush because they don't have that, things like that. But I kept forgetting because I'm used to using my bone folder. So I don't think I used my scissors to put pressure on. Again, maybe one more time. So I totally forgot what I was saying. But yeah, so so here I'm using the little bitty teeny tiny sharp scissors from Dollar Tree that I love. Oh, and I found a bunch this time, and so I'm sending some to you, Nawasa, along with some double-sided tape. Yeah, you'll be getting some stuff in the mail from me soon. So I'm just using that to cut up against the edge of the cardboard. Yeah. And then I'm just putting this glue on here as well. I think I may have put a little too much water, and I don't think I did that on camera. So I just put this purple glue in a little container, added some water, and then I felt like it was still too thick, and so I added some more water, and I think I added too much water this time. But that's okay. It's still stuck. It just didn't stick around the edges as well as I wanted it to. And then you have to also keep in mind this is a placemat, and there are 2 layers of fabric. So the light blue layer is the only layer that's really being glued to the cardboard, even though the glue is, bleeding through some. So yeah, so then I just cut that little triangle out, and I did that all the way around, and that's perfect. It gives me that really nice scrap that I can staple when I junk journal or glue. I can also make pin loops with them. So yeah, and I think that worked out better than if I had cut them diagonally and had little triangles. I wouldn't have been able to do as much with them. So perfect. Okay, so now I need to put some glue on the sides here as well. Yeah, by adding that much water, it did work better to put it on here, which is fine. I mean, like I said, it did glue. I think it would have glued a little better if, or adhered. I think it would have adhered a little better if I had not put quite as much water. Now, in this case, you'll see just like when I did my last project where I made a Dollar Tree traveler's notebook using all Dollar Tree supplies, and I'll link that video in the description below and also in the iCard. When I made that one, the fabric would not glue to the fabric, even though I was using Mod Podge, and that was the case this time as well. I'm not sure what the issue is or what it is about the fabric. I don't know, but in any case, but it wouldn't do it with the liquid glue like this purple glue, the Selmer's glue, or the Mod Podge, but it does absolutely work with this craft glue from Dollar Tree. So yeah, it's a nice thick glue. Not just thick, because that purple stuff is thick, but it's a really good glue that adheres very, very well. So I put that on the corners. And then I just have a little paper towel under here because I tend to put too much of that glue every single time. I don't know why. I can't just figure out the right amount, but in any case, it spills over. And you definitely want to be having like a damp rag or some damp paper towels and a couple of dry ones as well, to wipe up any glue that you're going to be having spill over during this project. And yeah, I started off without something to cover my table, but now I have this plastic tablecloth that I just cut up for whenever I have a little section of it for when I'm traveling, and then a bigger one for my table for my videos, and then the bigger one for bigger projects. It's all one big tablecloth, a giant one, but I cut it into pieces. So yeah, so I'm just putting the glue around all the corners, and I'll be happy because they'll be solid. Not solid, you know. It'll all be secure. I think that's the word I was looking for. Okay. So now you see how I just folded it up to see what hadn't stuck of the purple glue. And now I'm going to put some of the clear craft glue. And this bottle I had started before, and so it doesn't pour out as well. I think I said that earlier in this video. It doesn't pour out as well after you start using it for a little bit. And so here in a moment, I'm not sure if it's here, it must be on the other side. I'm going to switch to a new bottle. At some point in this video, I'm going to switch to a new bottle so that it comes out a lot better. So yeah, I'm squeezing hard. And I also forget that it will come out better if you lay it down, instead of standing it up. Then the glue will come out better because it is thick. So yeah, here I am cutting open a new bottle. So you have to cut it with some scissors, and it has a lid that comes with it, so that's nice. I mean, a lid that's attached that you won't have to lose, which is super nice. And now I'm just gonna put some pressure, and we should be good to go. Now I continued to work on this project while the glue was still a little damp, which was fine because I'm going to be adding more glue. There's all these different layers of glue. But after a little while, then I decided to put some weight on it. So this is a glass cutting board, and I decided to put this weight on it and sit it outside. I wound up taking it outside and letting everything dry, and it still wasn't completely dry. It was a little bit tacky, but for the most part it was dry. Yeah, and now it's time to do some paper on the inside. So I'm just kind of looking to see how wide I need it to be. I just want to put this around the spine. Thought it would be nice and pretty. Bring out the green. And because this has a pattern, instead of measuring it or putting it in my paper trimmer, I decided to just cut along the pattern, and it would work out nicely. Don't you love it when you can just follow a pattern? Yeah, this paper is so pretty. I don't remember where I got this paper pack, but they're all double-sided print. And from now on, I'm only going to buy, well, I say that, but I want to only buy double-sided because it works perfect for a lot of projects. And it's going to definitely be beneficial for this one later on when we do the inserts. Or not inserts, what do we call them? Signatures in this case. So yeah, I'm just cutting the length now along the pattern. And then I'm going to use the liquid glue. And I think, what did I do? I started off trying to just squeeze it from the bottle, and I was like, it's too thick. This is not going to work. So then I just poured it out on there, and instead of pouring it all in a container and then adding water to it, I just decided to use my wet brush and just add more water to my brush if I thought I needed to. And then I just put the glue, poured some more on there when I felt like I needed to. And it's supposed to be showing you where it is when it's purple, but I noticed that still there's thin layers of it even when you don't see the purple, which is fine. So yeah, and I just put that around there. I did all different types of techniques with this glue just to kind of see what worked best. And this is the way I did it this time. I think I think this was the way that worked best, but I think a different way you'll see a little bit later was the way that worked best. So now I'm just going to lay it in the center. And yeah, and it glued really well. The paper to the fabric worked out really well. So I was happy about that. And remember this time too, I didn't put it in a container and then add water to it. So that worked out really, gosh, can't talk. It's late at night, y'all, and I have not, well, I guess it's 11:37 my time, and I have been living on a really nice sleep schedule, and I would not be up right now. But I am tonight, and I'm feeling tired, so if my communication is lacking, I'm so sorry, but that's why I'm just fatigued. Okay, so now I'm just speeding it up a little bit because I just love to use my bone folder. Okay, so now it looks really good. It's on there very nicely. Yeah. So now I just need to do the sides, and I already cut out my 2 sheets of paper to go on the right and the left. I'm just checking to make sure that they fit in the space that I want them to and that they're not too wide. And so this one, I think I sped this one up. I still had some glue in here. I poured some more, and I don't think I added water. I don't think so. Yeah, I just used my wet brush, which I think is the best way. That for sure, I'm positive, is just make sure I have a good wet brush, and then dip it in the container and dip it in the water some more if I need to. Now, as far as how I apply the strokes, I think the way that I did after this was the best. Now, if you're using Mod Podge or some other good type of glue that is for this, then you don't have to worry about all. You just do what you do with what you got, and you know how it works for you. I was just trying to use some options, a different option from Dollar Tree. So this adhered really well. I'm just rubbing it all in. Loving my bone folder. Okay, that's enough, Lucy. I think it's on there. Oh my goodness. Look at me. Okay, now on this one, I use the same glue. Now, but I see how I did it horizontally and like halfway. I went toward the middle and all the way to the right horizontally, and it just got on there a lot easier. That was the best way. Now, when I turned my page, I was trying not to get glue all over my hands, so I didn't apply it the same way. But the easiest way I found to apply it was to pour it in a container, not add any water, but have a wet brush, and then do the strokes horizontally from right to or left to right toward the middle and the outside edge, and that really worked well in terms of getting a good application. And now Just going to use my bone folder again. And this is going to be it for today, you guys. I'm going to see part 2. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give a thumbs up and subscribe and share. Check me out on Instagram at Organized Planner Chic and my Facebook groups, Organized Planner Chic Crew and the local one, Phoenix Planner Friends for Christ. And if you want to support me on Patreon, patreon.com/organizedplannerchic. And until next time, everyone, happy planning!